Interesting news. Huge structures have been found under the pyramids in Giza, going down to 648 meters deep. This is a statement from scientists who scanned them using the latest technical equipment. There was previously information that before laying the blocks, a pit was carved out in the rocky base under all the pyramids in Egypt, lined with blocks, and some kind of chamber was created. Why it was done in such a complicated way is unclear. Officially, only a few such pits are known. Some pyramids were supposedly dismantled, others were never built. The names of these unfinished pyramids are the Pyramid of Sekhemket, the Pyramid of Djerefre, Baka, and Nefererefra. In March 2025, sensational information appeared from Italian scientists who, using scientific methods, discovered huge cavities of regular shape or even structures beneath the Great Pyramids in Giza. But there is a backstory to this discovery by the Italian scientists. Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi, who conduct research in the field of radar and remote sensing at the University of Strathclyde, published a peer-reviewed study in 2022 through a website titled Radar Doppler Tomography with Synthetic Aperture Reveals High-Resolution Details of the Unexplored Internal Structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their research was conducted using synthetic aperture radar technology, synthetic aperture radar data, as well as special software developed by Filippo Biondi, which converts radar signals into phononic information on a diagram, allowing the detection of millimeter-scale fluctuations in the density of scanned objects. This is a revolutionary technology that has improved remote radar sensing. The technology uses microwave frequencies and advanced algorithms to create high-resolution images of the Earth's surface and even beneath it. In most cases, the signal source is located on a satellite. A similar technology is used for radar sounding of planetary surfaces to create maps with topography. This is what the internal structure of airplanes in a parking lot looks like, scanned using this technology. The information was obtained from another airplane which also has these radars installed. The advanced technology of Italian scientists is capable of detecting underground structures that are invisible to traditional radar methods and of discovering internal structures in soil and rock at depths of up to 2 kilometers. The authors used scanning with 2 satellites, which allowed them to obtain 3D models. In short, the cavities discovered inside the pyramid of Khufu, Cheops, look like this on the scanner. After processing the data, a 3D model was created. Like in the pyramid, there are many corridors and rooms that are unknown to Egyptologists. This is a model of the discovered rooms and corridors. This unknown huge chamber inside the pyramid near the entrance looks especially impressive. Italian specialists in their work also mapped out the discovered corridors and rooms. This is the picture that appeared in the projections, but over the course of several years, few people paid attention to all this. Contact research on the Giza Plateau is limited or completely prohibited. So that was the prehistory. Italian scientists reported the real sensation in 2025. A press release was issued about another discovery and later a press conference was held. The scientists talked about new findings after processing the scan data in the studies of the Khufu pyramid. What they discovered is simply a sensational finding. Of course, we can't personally verify it, so we have to take their word for it. Analysis of dozens of synthetic aperture radar images taken from different angles made it possible to carry out a 3-dimensional reconstruction of the underground part of the Khufu pyramid deep beneath the surface of the Giza plateau. They used scanning from 2 satellites, which is why there were different angles, and they used the Doppler effect in their calculations. Under the base of the pyramid, several identical structures connected by corridors can be seen. Inside each of them, there are 5 horizontal levels and an inclined structure. Below these 5 cavities, there are 8 cylindrical vertical structures that resemble wells, hollow inside and surrounded by descending spiral ramps. These 8 vertically aligned cylindrical structures arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south descend to a depth of 648 meters, where they all rest on 2 large cubic structures, each about 80 meters on a side. These structures are located beneath all three pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex. Traditional Egyptology says that the pyramids of Giza were tombs for the pharaohs Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, but they were not actually buried there, and that they were built around 2,500 years before our era using ramps, sledges, and levers. It is claimed that the pyramids are ritual structures, but the information obtained suggests that their purpose is something completely different, some kind of technical, protective, or similar function. A huge underground structure discovered through synthetic aperture radar scan data decryption shows that the pyramids apparently are technical constructions. And this has been stated in the past by many researchers. Nikola Tesla believed that the pyramids could use the Earth's own frequencies. This may have inspired him to conduct experiments on wireless energy transmission and scalar waves at the Giza power station. Christopher Dunn claimed that the Great Pyramid was a machine generating energy using resonant and acoustic forces to convert mechanical stress into electricity. In the Giza Death Star, Joseph Farrell suggested that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a weapon of mass destruction, using a type of physics he calls paleophysics to focus energy as a scalar weapon. Cylindrical wells could have been conductors of energy, waveguides, or sound waves. And another conclusion made in the research is that there are still undiscovered pyramids or their remains on the Giza Plateau. The Italian Khafre project hopes to plan excavations to learn more about this underground structure, but history shows that getting approval for this will be very difficult. The chief archaeologist of Egypt, Zahi Hawass, is against any research that could change the traditional view of the construction of the pyramids, their purpose, and ancient Egyptian culture as a whole. Here he is at a video press conference with Italian scientists, which they held after publishing their work. Conspiracy theorists claim that this is simply a way to draw attention to the pyramids built in that era in order to divert attention from truly cyclopean structures around the world that were created by a previous civilization. For the same purpose, Stonehenge was also created in the 1960s and so on. There is also a theory that the construction of the Giza pyramids was used to cover up some kind of technological devices, or that they were simply built on the foundation of a much older structure. So this news is about a group of scientists developing an improved method of radar scanning using synthetic aperture radar technology. That is, the technology was created by someone else. It is claimed that this is mostly the result of artificial intelligence, which analyzes natural noise of something in the earth and seismic activity. How a satellite can record this is not disclosed. So where have the achievements of this incredibly promising technology been directed? It is reported that research on ancient objects and structures in the earth, for example, in the Dubai Desert, has found traces of activity by ancient people. In Mongolia, thousands of medieval sites were found along the Silk Road. But here is something that is not mentioned anywhere, yet is the most important. It is the undeclared ability to detect any military objects at any depth and under any protection. And this means a guaranteed victory for the side that delivers a preemptive strike, as well as a triumphant conduct of a local war anywhere in the world. Here's what's interesting throughout this entire news story. I'm haunted by this analogy. If you replace the term synthetic aperture radar with decoding torsion fields from photographs using the Shipov and Akimov method, this technology, which was developed in the early 2000s and was successfully tested for searching for mineral resources at various depths in Siberia. So it turns out that somehow it made its way to Italy, changed the inventors' names to Western ones, was implemented and successfully promoted so that it could start being used all over the world. It should be noted that photography itself is not a complicated or expensive thing, and there is no need to shoot from space. All of this can be done from any airplane. But the use of neural network algorithms for layer-by-layer decoding of torsion components would be very useful. But still, this is a matter within the limits of a department. One department can handle this with up to a dozen employees. The problem with the impossibility of implementing the torsion field technologies of Shipov and Akimov was that they were based on the theory of ether, which was rejected by Albert Einstein. But in the interpretation of Italian scientists, such a conflict does not arise. So, did the Italian scientists reinvent the technology of torsion scanning of the Earth at different depths, or was it sold by Russian science to Europe, or even simply handed over to us? That remains unknown. But the rules introduced since the 18th century, when all advanced inventions had to be transferred to Europe and assigned new authorship, have not gone anywhere and are still in effect to this day. Now, when similar technologies already invented and tested at the beginning of the 2000s by Shipov and Akimov have been forgotten, they can be implemented in Europe. Subtitles created by